So, cool. Sorry, I'm a little late. I don't mean to be so late here, but tonight we're going to go over in detail. We're going to go over qualified immunity, and we're going to talk about some things tonight that we kind of have to understand. I know a lot of people are watching these videos, and there's a lot of good discussions going on. And so what I want to talk about tonight is I want to talk about defining some terms, and then we're going to dig into exactly when qualified immunity came in, under which case it came in, and that's super important that you know which year and how qualified immunity happened. And so we're going to talk about that in detail. And then we're going to chase, hey, hi, McDonald. Hey, hey, how you guys doing? Where's everybody from? Good to see you guys. I'm still sick. I'm still a little under the weather, so I'm not feeling like jumping on camera, but I'm gonna walk you guys through some stuff. You're gonna learn some information tonight, and so I'm gonna need you guys to be right by your computer. You're gonna want to, hey, you doing? Good to see you, McDonald. You're gonna want to be right by your computer because the information I'm going to give you tonight is going to be a lot. It's going to be a lot of information. And also, you should look this stuff up as I'm talking about it, because you know your qualified immunity doctrine is going to come from a 1967 case called Pearson versus Ray. Pearson versus Ray. Let me grab a water real quick, guys. How's everybody doing? Sorry, I had to grab some water real quick. So, okay, so how's everybody doing? Who's in the room? Let me know. Anybody who's from America? Who's from the United States? From Canada, Switzerland, Egypt? Where are you guys from? Tell me. Drop down in the comment section if you guys would, please. Just let me know where you're from, and I'm gonna jump right into tonight's lecture. Sorry, I was a little distracted here. I'm just trying to get this laid out so that it's gonna flow for you guys, because there's a lot of information to cover here, and I want to set something straight about qualified immunity. Qualified immunity is something that we just have to address. And how you guys doing? Good to see everybody. Nice to see you, Jada, Josh. Good to see you, buddy. Good to see everybody. So now we're going to address qualified immunity. We're going to talk about it. And so let's get into it a little bit. And first, I want to make a few definitions. I want to make a few definitions clear. If there's all these things people talk about, and so I want to talk about if you're the man in the dungeon, right? So if you're in the dungeon because someone is prejudiced against you, that's a preconceived opinion that is not based on reason or actual experience, right? So someone can be prejudiced against you, right? And then if you're going to define discrimination, the unjust or prejudicial treatment of different categories of people or things, especially on the grounds of race, age, or sex. And then racism is the belief that different races possess different characteristics, abilities, or qualities, especially so as to distinguish them as inferior or superior to one another. Okay? So now those are the definitions of those words, and I want to be clear here because I want to tie some things together for you guys for qualified immunity that you probably didn't know. And so when you understand what happened here, when you understand what happened right here with the model penal code, when you understand the history of how the laws in this country were formed, how they were created, and then you understand that you hate qualified immunity. So many auditors will come over and say they hate qualified immunity. Okay? And so then you say, well, how was qualified immunity created? How did qualified immunity happen? So the way it happened was, once again, with the Earl Warren Court. Earl Warren, Supreme Court Justice from 1953 to 1969, he's going to be the guy sitting on the bench when qualified immunities passed 8-1. And we can go back to a case from 1965. Qualified immunity is going to happen in 1965 with a case called Pearson versus Ray. So take a look at Pearson versus Ray. If you guys want to type that into your browser right now, you can go to Oyez, you can go to Justia, you can go to any one you want, okay? And just so that I don't in any way, shape, or form mess up the story, I'm going to, well, I know it already. So let me walk you through it. I don't need to look up anything. So right here, there's going to be a group of Baptist Christians who are going to take a drive, and they're going to take a drive from Louisiana up to Detroit, right? They're going to go up, boom. They're going to go up, right? And so what they're going to do is they're going to stop by all the different bus stops, and this is in 1961. And Ray is going to, what he's going to do is Ray's the cop. They're going to go to a truck stop, a deli in Jackson, Mississippi. And in Jackson, Mississippi, what they're going to do is they're going to go to a whites-only restaurant to get a sandwich. That's what they're going to do. And the cops have put a sign outside that says, only white people allowed. And so this is the history of qualified immunity right here. I'm talking to you right now. I'm telling you exactly what the exact history of how we got. I just want to make sure on a map exactly where Jackson is. Boop, 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 boop. Holy shoot! Look at that. You're way inside. So if you're gonna go into Jackson, Mississippi, you're gonna be holy smokes. We're gonna go just inside here. It's gonna be like right in here, right? Jackson, Mississippi. And what's gonna happen right here is these clergymen are gonna try to go have a sandwich, and the cops are gonna arrest them, and they're gonna go to jail. And then Judge Spencer is going to convict them all and sentence them to 4 months in jail. And so then what they say is that the judge is the big thing here. The Judge Spencer, the magistrate who's charged in 1965, that when the clergymen sued them and it goes all the way to the Supreme Court, then what happens is the judges on the Supreme Court, the argument they have is that judges should not be up for review. They should not have to be. You understand? They're petitioning to They go to judges at the Supreme Court, and the judges say that judges are going to have qualified immunity, that the judges can't be sued because the judges have qualified immunity. That's what they're worried about. And when you listen to the oral arguments, which you can listen to the oral arguments online of Pearson versus Ray, what these guys are doing is they're making sure that judges cannot ever be impeached. Because in the history of the Supreme Court, in the history of the 115 different people who've been just magically appointed to a court that you and I don't elect, but they're in charge of every single one of our civil liberties, they are in charge. What they say then changes our civil liberties. If they say something, that's it. That's how it is. That's the interpretation of our Constitution, and we lose our rights if this unelected body of dudes and just absolute people who are out of touch, they're appointing the most elite of the most elite. Imagine Hillary Clinton appointed to the Supreme Court, goofbrain she is. Imagine Joe Biden appointed to the Supreme Court, goofbrain he is. That's what this court is. It's the most elite of the most elite. And so now, what are we talking about? We're talking about qualified immunity. We're talking about Earl Warren getting a case in front of him where they say, oh, does this count for judges? That's what Hugo Black says. Does this count for judges too? And then, of course, if it doesn't count for judges, it's going to count for the cops. The cops are going to have qualified immunity. That's what they're concerned about. You need to go listen to the oral arguments of Pearson versus Ray. You need to go and listen to them. Go and listen to the oral arguments. It's an hour. It's not even a hard listen. It's fun. Go listen to them, Pearson versus Ray. Listen to these guys talk about how judges should not be impeached. Okay, now there's only been, throughout the history of me studying the Supreme Court, all 115 of these people, all right? I've researched every single one of them, read something they wrote, found out something about each and every single one of them, right? On every single court, it doesn't take long. It's not a hard thing to do. And so what you find out, though, is that they're all out-of-touch elitists who have nothing in common with you and me at all whatsoever. Qualified immunity, my friends. I started off this talk by explaining exactly, and I'm just going to repeat it for the people who came into the room tonight. I'm going to give you these clinical definitions right here that I pulled directly from the internet, from Webster's dictionary or whatever, right? And I said, here's the question. When you're talking about a dungeon, where you're going to go and be in a dungeon, okay? What is prejudice? Prejudice is a preconceived opinion that is not based on reason or actual experience. What is discrimination? Discrimination is the unjust or prejudicial treatment of a different category of people or things, especially on the grounds of their race, age, or sex. Racism is the belief that different races possess different characteristics, abilities, or qualities, especially so as to distinguish them inferior or superior to one another. Okay, so now when you're talking about what we do to people in the United States, we take them to a dungeon, to a hellhole, where they are treated awful from the moment they get there till the moment they leave. The guards are snickering snakes as you leave, being mean. It's horrible. It's a horrible situation. Okay, so what is that based on? That if the cop beats you up, or you go before you try to sue a judge and you say you've been unjust to me, and then the 1965 Pearson versus Ray case makes it so that they get qualified immunity. What exactly does that mean? That's you. All alone in a hellhole. But what's it based on? What's it based on? It's based on a bunch of clergymen who want to drive down Louisiana up to Detroit and celebrate, and they're freedom riders on a bus, and they're going to go around from place to place and say, hey, but 54, this is 1961. This is 1961 in Jackson, Mississippi. So I thought we desegregated in 1954. No, when they got to the bus stop, to the diner, it said, no, only white people allowed in this diner. And they said, we just want a sandwich. We're going up to Michigan. And I don't blame them one bit. So what I'm trying to say, though, is that our 1965 Qualified Immunity Act is based on their case. They went to the Supreme Court, and the Supreme Court said, nope, the cops are immune. The judges are immune, and the cops are immune. It's based on prejudice, discriminatory, racism. Qualified immunity is based from racism. Now, what's probable cause? What's probable cause? Probable cause, no warrant shall issue, but upon probable cause, a law's been broken. That's probable cause. If a warrant can be issued, you go to the dungeon. That's what happens. If a warrant can be issued, probable cause means you are, my friend, you are going to the dungeon. And so now what happens? Now what year is probable cause here? I want to be clear. I want to show you guys something. I'm going to show you something, especially if you see this whole video, you're going to understand my whole point. I wrote this shit down. Okay. And this says no warrant shall issue, but now probable cause right here, up here in 1776, this means no warrant shall issue, but upon probable cause, meaning you broke the law, period. That's what that means in 1776. In 1776, a warrant can be issued for you. And how do we know this to be factual? Because of the John Bad Elk case. 2 Native American Indians shoot each other when they're cops, and Bad Elk doesn't have a warrant for his arrest. And then he goes, I'm not going to jail. They shoot each other because neither one will back down. They're trying to assimilate to become American cops. God bless those guys' souls. Okay. And then it goes to the Supreme Court, and the Supreme Court says, they say that because he didn't have a warrant for his arrest, John Bad Elk was only guilty of manslaughter. He was not guilty of murder because the officer who was attempting to arrest him did not have a legal warrant for his arrest. The other cop was wrong. And so the Supreme Court said that John Bad Elk would only be guilty of manslaughter. Okay? So we understand probable cause means you have broken the law. Otherwise, John Bad Elk would have been charged with murder. He would have been charged with murder. If probable cause is you breaking the law, then he would have been charged with murder. It was manslaughter. He died in jail anyway, just so you know. So it's not a pretty story. Okay, so now then what happens here? What happens here? Let's come down a little bit. Carroll versus United States. Well, we can go back further, but let's go to the ones that we're going to take on. Now, what is Carroll versus the United States? Do you see? What is probable cause? Probable cause is I saw them in their car. We're trying to get them in their car. That's now probable cause. That they have suspicion of them, and the probable cause is that the car is exigent. That's the probable cause. The reason why they pull the Carrolls over and say, we're going to get them into your car, is because this is now probable cause that they're suspicious. This is when it starts. This is when the absolute ridiculousness starts. And this is going to be based on a freaking mandate. On a mandate going back to 1820, led by good people who were just misguided. And so what do we have? What do we have? We lose what probable cause means. What does probable cause mean today? And then we're going to bring it back. I'm going to bring it full circle. This is the last circle, and then we come full circle. Okay? So, I'm so sorry. Carroll versus United States. What is probable cause today? That's what I was going to. What is probable cause today? Probable cause in 1776 is no warrant shall issue, but upon probable cause, supported by oath or affirmation of the victim who you have hurt and made a victim. Okay, and so now right up here, probable cause because I'm suspicious. What does probable cause mean though? Probable cause means a warrant can be issued for your arrest. Do you see? Do you understand? We have allowed an unelected Supreme Court to slowly but surely, and this is why I was going to do this, the Cruikshank case, they say that they can't uphold your rights. In 1876, this Supreme Court, this unelected body that we didn't vote for, the Waite Court, said we can't make sure that you'll get, I forget his first name, unelected. I don't want to say anything horrifically bad, It starts to make me shake when I understand exactly how we're losing our rights constantly. This group of people may have gotten it right today. On one part, they're still making people take a vaccination. They're still forcing people. There's 2 Supreme Courts today. I don't want to lose focus here, but we're going to come back to that at the end. Okay? We didn't elect these people. And right here in Cruikshank, they said they couldn't guarantee our rights. That's what they said. Did you elect those people? I didn't elect those people. You know, I have a certain disdain for police officers. I don't like them a bunch. But where does it come from? Where is the source of our misery? Let's just jump right to it. Let's get into it. Didn't they say that for private companies, but if you work for the government, you will be the zombie they tell you to be. You will do what you're told or you will not work here. Do you understand? We have to lay the blame where it belongs. We have to. So where does qualified immunity come from? Your qualified immunity from Pearson versus Ray comes 100% from racism, 100%. Now, if you want to read another case called Bevins versus 6 unnamed agents from 1964, is it 65 or was it 64? Whatever. You'll get it. Bivens versus 6 unnamed agents. Okay. Follow. So as we go down the line, hold on a second. So as we go down the line, now I'm sorry. So now and this is the reason why I was talking about those people up there. And this is what we all have to understand. When you lose the right to understand that probable cause is you breaking the law, and it is not super subjective. It's not like you're like, well, did you break the law? You did go over the line. That's where we are now. You can get a ticket from a camera when there's nobody on the road. You can get a speeding ticket in all kinds of states in America when there's nobody on the road. It's the middle of the night. There's nobody around. And you need to pay the state. Probable cause is the camera that took a picture of you. And just so you know, my friends, if you really want to take something away from this talk, you can fight any single camera ticket in America. Did you know that? There's a whole process you can do. So if you guys, and you can find this information online. I'm not going to be the only person. You have the right to face your accuser, 6th Amendment right. You have a 6th Amendment right to face your accuser. Your camera of a speeding light is not a ticket. Bivens versus United States. That's right. 6 federal agents. What year is that, my friend? I'm sorry, I can't see that. What was that year? That's right. Okay. So if you get a camera ticket, my friends, and you truly are a patriot and you want to fight it, you start a letter writing campaign and you ask to face the accuser and you want to see the state agent who's charging you with the, you want to see who you made a victim, and you can actually beat any camera ticket. So what we have allowed, what you and I have allowed, and what we are continue to allowing is that we don't have a third party over the top of these people. This is why I have to run for governor. I'm going to have to run for governor of a state, and I'm going to have to win, and I'm going to have to implement a third party for checks and balances over the top of police. Period. End of discussion. There's an auditor there, a tax paid inside job auditor. Cops know they're there. They know the cops are there. There is no back and forth between the two of them. You have to have men's ambition to counter men's ambition, as you've heard me say 100 times from James Madison, who actually stole it from Montesquieu. He wrote it in the Federalist Papers. You must have men's ambition to counter men's ambition. That's what he wrote. It's an interpretation of what Montesquieu wrote. I can't remember. He wrote it in French in 1750. So if you don't have men's ambition to counter men's ambition, you get this. This is the results. This is the results of us not demanding a third party to watch over cops. And so what it's actually going to mean is that every single one of these people, I mean, take a look at them. Take a look. I mean, take a look at them. All these presidents, all these state attorney generals, every one of them cop-sucking lovers, all of them. Joe Biden, where's Joe at? There you are, Joey. You right there? You lost old man. Joey, you're the guy who created the 94 crime bill. Joey, you're the guy who just gave more money to cops than Trump and Bush combined. You're the guy, dude. You're a problem. You are a cop sucker. You always have been. You always will be. I have this. You are now reaching the levels of Obama and even Trump. Which, in case you guys didn't know, I hate to inform anybody, but Obama was one of the worst presidents in the history of the world. In the history of America, one of the bottom worst presidents. He murdered more people abroad. He caused more damage. He said George Bush drove us into a bitch. And then he just kept on driving and expanded the wars to 3 more. He destabilized Africa, the entire continent, by allowing Hillary Clinton to kill Gaddafi. He was an abysmal, horrific failure. Sorry. He took the Nobel Peace Prize and then droned to death millions of people from the sky at wedding parties. Atrocious, atrocious. Not just him. I could go down the line. Trump's no better. Trump's garbage too. Sorry. I want you guys to know I hate them both. Billy Swilly Clinton, piece of garbage. Right? I just get negative, I guess. Sorry, guys. Sorry. So if thanks. Pull me back, guys. Pull me back from the brink. I could go off on Nixon too, and I go off on Reagan. I could just, girl, I will have my cake. Sorry, guys. I got kind of a little dark and dirty there. I'm sorry. If you don't know what if you don't know what Reagan did, so let's go back into Terry v. Ohio. So here's the presidents. Here's Nixon. He creates the prison industry spike, and there's Reagan. He makes the for-profit prison industry, and then you got these police chiefs who are just complete and utter garbage, and then Joe Biden and Slick Willie Clinton. Woo! They take it for a lion scale ride, And so that's where we are. So if you're going to talk about qualified immunity, I'll get off the presidents, you guys. I wasn't trying to go into politics, you guys. I'm just trying to talk about, we haven't had a great president. It's like they're all just such garbage. So if you're on the left or the right and you're diehard Republican or Democrat, you probably can't have anything to do with me because I hate both wings of these birds. These birds should be that we should create another a center wing of the bird because there's more of us who agree on the basics of things than disagree. So when you bastardize probable cause, when you strip away when you strip away the Fourth Amendment is the right of the people, when you strip this away, when you say this no longer matters and we're just going to create it as we go, probable cause in their mind. So up here in the 1949 case, and I probably don't talk about Brinegar a whole bunch, but in the 1949 case of Brinegar, the holding says, the Supreme Court says, the people who we didn't elect for Brinegar, they say that if a police officer, a man of reasonable caution, has reasonable trustworthy information that you could be doing something bad in your house, he can go into your house. And that's a holding from Brinegar. And so when you go to it's the Vinson court. I mean, it's horrifically bad. It's horrifically bad. It's not good when probable cause becomes, if you have probable cause to believe in your mind. Probable cause to believe in your mind is no such thing. It couldn't be possible. Not with the writing of what the founding fathers wrote. That doesn't make any sense. It doesn't make sense that you would have probable cause in your mind to believe. That just doesn't make any sense. Read the words yourself. These are exactly from the Fourth Amendment. No warrant shall issue but upon probable cause supported by oath or affirmation. Probable cause means you broke the law. So and then it just keeps going. It just keeps going. Where they start to create more and more stuff. Where Olmstead versus the United States, they tap the phones. DeJong, this is the first open police protest where the Oregon Syndicate has written a law that says that you can't say anything that's anti-American or whatever they consider anti-American, and they try to prosecute DeJong and he wins. DeJong wins. And our rights are upheld to be able to protest. If they had lost this case in 1937, we wouldn't be able to protest police today. We wouldn't be able to talk about police today. Anyway, I've been sick for 3 days, folks. I've been sick for 3 days. That's why I'm not on camera. I'm not feeling fantastic. I'm still a little off, but you know, I got to come on and educate every day and try to talk about things that are hard and uncomfortable to talk about. So I know the auditing community just really, really hates qualified immunity because it's a mantra that just somehow got stuck that this was the worst thing. I got it as number, I had this, I made a list the other day for, what's that channel's name? His name is Dennis. I could tell you his name. Let me give his channel a shout out. Who's it? What's his name? Dennis. I don't want to. So Dennis, he gave me he covered my video the other day. So anyway, I sent him a list, and qualified immunity just so you know, my list, just so you guys know, to overturn cases that have to be overturned, right? That are the most important that we have to do now. What's first? What do we do first? You know, we first have to go after Terry with reckless abandon, because Terry will get us right. Kerr immediately. Terry and Kerr will fall right next to each other, because as soon as we take down Terry, we'll be able to take down Kerr. And Kerr is the knock and announce one. And then when you take down Kerr, you want to take down Brinegar and get our standard of probable cause back. The trajectory of what this does, taking down these three, and look, they're not that far apart in years. Taking down Terry, it blasts, it just obliterates all of these BS ones. The dog barking at you is probable cause. Florida versus Harris. A dog barking at you is probable cause. What does that mean? A warrant can be issued for your arrest. A warrant shall issue upon probable cause. Just read it that way. Okay, so if a dog barks at you, that's probable cause. So if once we obliterate Terry, Pennsylvania versus Mims, you got to get out of the car for officer safety. You know, but we have to go after these things, and it may require that we go after these guys, and we absolutely push our agenda to break them up and make them electable, because I'm sorry, but let me just clue you in real quick. You're elected for life, forever and ever, and that's not going to corrupt you. And none of them have ever been impeached, ever, not once, ever, none of them, ever. So, oh Lord. So yeah, let me, I'll flip it around for a minute. I think I can do it. There it is. Yeah. Oops, sorry about that. Oops. So yeah, man, I don't even know if I feel like going on camera. I'm not good. I'm still not feeling very good. But I think it's important that we continue to talk every single day that, I'm not feeling good, but that's all right. We should continue to talk every single day about these things. And now that you got the Bivens case, you know, and now that you have the Pearson versus Ray, and now that you know, those jumping points, and this is the funny part that I wanted to talk about. You know, I hear people bash Wikipedia and say dumb things about Wikipedia. You know, if you go to Terry versus Ohio and then you scroll to the bottom and you check the different amendments that it touches from and how it affects the Fourth Amendment, the First Amendment, the Second Amendment, right? And it takes you on a ride. So any case that you have on the poster, as soon as you find that case, if you go to Wikipedia, the one that everybody talks trash about, which I donate money to every time I have an extra $2, like, you know, just give it to them, right? You can go to the bottom of the Wikipedia page and you can see the jurisprudence of the case that you were just researching. That's it's a pretty nice resource. And so the other day, someone asked me, you know, how do I get going? I said, well, I sent you the poster, dude. I said, I sent you and which, by the way, I've got about maybe 10 people waiting on posters. Oh, sorry. Sorry about that. I got about 10 people waiting on posters, for free posters that I have not gotten to, but I'll get you guys tonight. It's been 2 days, but I have been so sick. I've been so sick. I wasn't going to come on tonight, but I was like, you know what? People just have to understand that Pearson versus Ray is based on racism. That sucks. Qualified immunity is based on racism. It's history. You know, this is the unedited history of America, not the bullshit history that we don't want to be, or that makes you feel bad or whatever. It doesn't make me feel bad. I didn't do it. I wasn't there. I had nothing to do with it. So, you know, and then you have to look at who you're going to lay blame on that for. You know, it's plain as day. It's the Supreme Court. It's plain as day. It's the unelected Supreme Court. So I just got thrown off task for a second, but But when you look at one of these cases on here, and if I sent you a free poster, you should have printed it out. You should have printed out your free poster. I mean, I sent you a free poster so you can scrounge together the money and go down to Home Depot or Office Depot and get it printed out. Because when you put this on your wall, the more you look at it, your brain will absorb it. And the more you absorb it, the more you'll spread it. And the more you spread it, the more you're likely to reach the kid who's 10 that will overturn the Supreme Court from being appointed oligarchs, kings for their lives. There's no way that's going to corrupt you forever. Never. It would never corrupt you forever. How long is your job? Forever. Oh, really? Even if you have cancer and you're going to die? Yeah, I'm not going to retire yet. That's the wonderful Ruth Bader Ginsburg. And I guess we did see the difference between the political factions on the Supreme Court. You know, we saw it break right down ideological lines. But the Supreme Court, you know, but actually, do you know what? We can't even say that. It was a total loss. It was a complete and total loss. We lost today completely. The Supreme Court ruled against all of us today because they ruled that a certain sect of people absolutely have to do what 9 unelected people say they have to do. So we all lost. It was a big loss today. Gigantic. There's millions of people who are going to be forced or certainly feel forced if they don't, to have to go and put a global medication in their body. Total loss. And people are kind of looking it over. I didn't look it over. It's a total failure. Complete and total failure. We lost big time today. All right. I just came on. I just want to talk about, you know, just understanding what happens when we allow these people to change what probable cause means. This is what happens when we allow these people to change what probable cause means. This is what happens. That's it. Right there. That's the whole thing. On another front, you guys, I have something going on so cool right now. You have no idea. It's the coolest thing ever. It's really cool. You guys will all know about it. I'm exhausted. I'm still sick. I gotta stop. But if you guys have any questions, you guys want to get a poster, you can get one of my posters on deletelaws.com with a Z. If you guys want one for free, you can email me at deletelaws with a G at gmail.com and I'll send you one for free. I'm sorry I'm behind for 2 days. I just have not wanted to sit in front of my computer. I did do an edit last night of Izzo, and that's why there was no like graphics or stuff like that. But I went to a new t-shirt place today, so I got the t-shirts printing. People who order t-shirts, I got a little video I'll put up of the new t-shirt place called Stage 3 Printing here in Phoenix. That's where I'm getting the t-shirts printed. So if you guys want to check them up, Stage 3 Printing, it's pretty cool. So anyway, my favorite president was John F. Kennedy. It's not really close for me, to be honest. That's who my favorite president was. As far as, you know, he got killed though before he could have really been a unlikable. John F. Kennedy was a horribly disliked man. Horribly disliked. People hated him on the left and the right. He was hated. John F. Kennedy was. Did you know that? Yeah, he was hated. All of them were hated. Every person was hated. You know, all of them. Every single person who ever wanted to change this government, right? Every single person who ever has any success at changing the government is going to be absolutely hated. Is going to be absolutely hated. So we I will run for governor and I will win, and I will run on a third party ticket that will have nothing to do with Democrats or Republicans. There's too many of us who align on most issues where we're allowing these two radical parties to completely ruin politics. You know, where you can't even talk about politics when we live in a political world. You know, Trump is hated, of course. Trump is the only president to sign a stroke of a pen. 6,000 people got out of prison. So, you know, when you look back on history, and this is kind of why I went off on Obama, because, you know, I was able to unlock a lot of archives from Obama's years as president. You know, a lot of released records came out about Obama, and I read those records. And so understanding that I campaigned for him, he was the last Democrat I voted for, you know, like, Like, you know, it's like really disappointing to find out those things I found out about him, you know? So, you know what I mean? You know what I'm saying? I'm still sick. I'm not good. I'm not good. Uh, no, Kennedy wouldn't have been loved because when you, just so you know, when you want to change the government, right? You hear what I just said? I said, I'm going to run for governor on a third party ticket. I'm going to win, right? The people who are diehard Democrats and people who are diehard Republicans, they automatically see you as an adversary to their candidate. And so they don't like you. Some of those people literally just don't like you. Oh, Ruth Bader Ginsburg was an abysmal failure. I mean, I could go off on Ruth. And she wasn't some great. I don't want to go off on it, but she. Mont versus United States 2019, Ruth Bader Ginsburg. In Mont versus United States of 2019, Ruth Bader Ginsburg is the swing vote 5-4. It's a 5-4 vote. And Ruth Bader Ginsburg is the fifth vote of the other four conservatives. And and if you don't know, it's a cop sucking bill, Mont versus United States, that you'll have to do more. You have to do your full time and then do your full probation if you're arrested after your. The exact specifics are if you are arrested and put in jail and then you're let out of jail early for good time and then you violate your parole, when you come back, the time that you do next isn't your parole time, it's your whole time. And so then after that, Ruth voted that you should have to continue to do the 2 years or 4 years or 5 years or 10 years of probation. So she expanded the police state, prison state by being the fifth swing vote. In what year? 19, no, 2019. 2019. Yeah, 2019. She was the swing vote to expand the police state, prison state in 2019 with four other conservatives and the four other liberals dissented. So it just goes to show, you saw what happened today. They voted that people have to get a mandatory medication. So you know what. You have to get it if you work for this company. You guys don't have to get it, but we have the power to tell millions of people, you have to get this. You have to. You have to. Or you don't get a job. And all the 20 years you put in of service, sorry, new thing hit, you got to take a global medication. and everybody's like, yay, we won. No, no, no. 9 unelected people just decided the fate for millions of people, and they either have to quit their job or, because I wouldn't do it. I'm not sticking that stuff in my body yet. I said, you hear me say yet? It has to go through trials. It has to go through trials. And then, you know, is there going to be an option pretty soon not to get a spike protein? Is there going to be that option? Because I don't really want a spike protein. Can't we do it the old-fashioned way? I don't want the spiked RNA. Sorry, I just don't want it. Is that bad? Am I a bad guy for that? Am I a bad guy? I don't want to be a bad guy, but I don't want that spiked protein. I'm going to pass on that. No, but I want it. Yeah, it's thank you. I appreciate it, but yeah, it was, I feel like it was a total loss today. You know, we allowed 9 people who you and I would never ever associate with in life. Do you think that you would ever associate with one of those Supreme Court justices? Just hold on, just think about it for a minute. Do you think that you would ever go down to a deli or go down to a coffee shop and see that person and you would have this interaction with this human? No, they have nothing in common with you and me. Nothing. They're the most elite rich of the most elite, or the most privileged, or the most special, the most chosen for their different perspective on this thing or that. No accountability to us, zero, and they're in charge of the only thing. The only reason a Supreme Court hears a case is why? Is it when it has to do with your civil liberties. Your civil liberties. That's the only cases they hear. This unelected body of people, they don't hear criminal cases. They don't decide if you're guilty of robbing a bank or not. No, no, no. They decide whether or not it was okay that you got shot as you ran out of the bank. Tennessee versus Garner. So, you know, I mean, for every single time you guys see somebody kill somebody, when you see that, I'm sorry, let me rephrase that. When you see a cop kill someone, when you see that happen, right? I can literally look at that and say, you know, that's Florida versus Harris. The dog chased him out of the car for no reason, and then as soon as he got out of the car, he got killed. Then and that's it's almost always a Terry stop. It's almost always a Terry stop. Almost always a Terry stop. Every time you see someone die by the police, and you know, it's almost always a Terry stop. Almost always. So, you know. I mean, how's it going? How you guys doing? You know? I mean, I literally look like shit, but I don't care. I just wanted to get it out that you know, look, okay, here, can we just be honest for a second? Who's tired of hearing everything is racist, right? Especially because I was called a racist, right? Which is just crushed. It doesn't matter. It's like ridiculous. But the point is, you know, everything's racist. People are so sick of hearing how everything is racist, right? Believe me, I certainly am, right? So then you really research into qualified immunity, and you find out that it's based on racism. Qualified immunity is based on racism. What? Qualified immunity is based on racism. A lot of BS stuff is racist, but Terry versus Ohio is based on racism. You know, I mean, gun laws. Every gun law we have is based on racism. All gun laws are based on racism. 1911 Sullivan Act. I mean, you know. If you guys are just watching this YouTube video, I don't even know if I'll post this. I'm just talking to some people. Maybe I won't post it. I don't know. But so, yeah. Anyway. All right. Well, listen, we're having a good time, right? We're slowly but surely, you know, if I gave you one of the posters, I really expect you to print that out. I really do. I really kind of expect you to print that out. If I sent you a free poster, you know, I expect you to save up the $30 or whatever it costs at FedEx or Office Max or wherever. And I totally expect you to go print this out and put it on your wall and then research all these cases. You know, yeah. Well, I would, but that's not what racism is at all. No, that's not what racism is at all. Racism is not targeted class warfare. That's not what racism is. I mean, maybe you weren't here earlier, but just so that I couldn't make a mistake and say any word that would be incorrect according to the actual definition of racism, I pulled it up in my notes and I put it here. So racism is not a targeted class warfare. And don't call me Shirley. So racism is based on prejudice and discrimination. So prejudice is a preconceived opinion that is not based on reason or actual experience. And then discrimination is the unjust prejudicial treatment of different categories of people or things, especially on the grounds of race, age, or sex. And then racism is the belief that different races possess distinct characteristics, abilities, or qualities, especially so as to distinguish them as inferior or superior to one another. Now, you know, there's some bullshit in there, in that racism definition right there. There's a little bit of BS in there. Because, you know, how many white guys do you see in the NBA? You know, you know, are long, lanky black guys more athletic? Yeah. Yeah. And for that sport, yeah. Yeah. Usain Bolt. I mean, I'm just saying, how could you not, like, what are you talking about? You could easily say, I mean, what are you talking about? So there's a little bit of BS in there because they really don't want you to generalize people at all, but it's not true. But so then what I was comparing that to though is someone who said what racism is, and then I defined it for you. What I was comparing that to though is when you change the standard of probable cause, and then you put a monopoly on power on the policing system, and then you don't have checks and balances on the policing system, and there is some people who are going to be discriminatory or prejudiced against other people regardless of their skin color, even though black people are certainly targeted by police. It's incredible, right? But the Terry stop rules are going to apply to everybody. You're, you know, so you depending on you know, and this is where you get that saying, and this is so funny. This comes full circle here. This is where you get that saying that, there's some good cops. That, there's some good cops. I met this cop one time, and he was so fair and nice to me, right? Okay, to you, man. You guys is water mixed, and it worked out great for you. But typically, it's just not that's just not the according to the police commissions, and so that's I'm just saying. Do you know what I mean? Like that's so when people say, "Oh, there's some good cops," I'm like, my cousin, my I got a cousin, and he told me he backed into this woman, and they backed in at the, I don't know, say you're in the bank parking lot, whatever, and two vehicles back in, and they backed into one another, and when you both back into one another, then that is mutual damage in a parking lot, and both insurance companies just cover their own things, right? So so my cousin leaves the scene and tells her it's going to be mutual back, and she calls the cops and says he hit her and drove away. So they go to his house, right? Because they got the license plate. So they go to his house, but he didn't run away. He's a dad with two kids. His wife is not running away from anything. He told the lady, he said, "That's a mutual back end," and she goes, "Oh well, whatever." And then he drove away. And then anyway, so the point is when the cops got there, they arrested him. They arrested him in front of his two kids and wife in front of his house. do you, I'm telling you that for a reason. Picture it. Full grown man, 60, 65 years old, right? He's 58 years old, 58 years old. And he's got a wife and two kids. And they come to his house for two cars that backed into each other, two bumpers that hit each other, two back bumpers hit each other. That's what happened. That's the whole scene, right? And they came to his house and they arrested him in front of his wife and two children in the front yard. They took him outside in handcuffs in front of his neighbors. And so you telling me who's good? How many of those cops are good? And the cop, and he's so funny because he tells me, he's like, yeah, the cops felt real bad about doing it. Said he was real sorry. Said he had to. What? The guy who arrested you in front of your neighbors, in front of your wife and kids? You and I are different. I love you, bro, but if you arrest me in front of my wife and kids for two back bumpers hitting into each other and you're going to take me to a dungeon, I don't see any good in you. I don't care what you say to me and how nice you are to me as you do it. We're different. That's all, You're okay with being dominated. You're all right with that. You're cool with that. I understand that. That's cool. I got nothing against you, bro. There's going to be a time soon. I'm getting older and older. There's going to be a time soon I can no longer go to the room and grapple and wrestle and have fun and do those things. And that time's coming, I'm sure. But the idea of how do you say that? I don't want to say that and sound silly, but if you're in the world of grappling, if you can take me down and hold me down, dude, I have all the respect in the world for you. But if you want to put me in handcuffs in front of my friends and family and dominate me by using the color of law when there's no victim, probable cause is a warrant can be issued, and that's got to be supported by oath or affirmation. and you're swearing that two bumpers hit each other and I need to go to jail? I need to go to jail in front of my wife and kids? And he's nice? That's a nice guy? That's a nice person who's taking me to the jail? That's kind? He was a good guy in the end. He was? We got something coming out for auditors. We got something big coming out for auditors. Something really big. So you guys can get excited about it. We have something really, really big coming out for auditors. Huge. This will be what we have coming out for auditors will be a complete and total game changer. It'll be a total game changer. And it comes out in like the next month. I think this is January. I think we probably have it by March. I think we probably have it by March. Yeah. You know, by the time we put it, it always takes longer than you want. So we have a 1 month timeline, but we're probably going to have it in 2. But we have something for auditors that is just going to absolutely revolutionize the game for you. It's going to change the game. How many people have seen this? And I guess there's still people here. So let me ask you guys something. How many people have seen it where an auditor gets to a point? He gets to a point, and he's about to, where the cop, Jeff Gray. Anybody know who Jeff Gray is? Does anybody know who Jeff Gray is? Does anybody know who Jeff Gray is? Does anybody know that name? So Jeff Gray. Jeff Gray, there's an audit. You can look him up. There's an audit of Jeff Gray. And there's a cop who is just giving him the hardest time. And so Jeff Gray, yeah, the guy walks up to him and he's like, hey, and Jeff's like, I can't go to jail right now. I got my wife and kids, and he's a really nice guy. And the cop's like, you're going to show me some ID. And Jeff, you get to that point where Jeff has to say, if you're going to take me to jail, then I'll give you my ID. And the cop tells him, I'm going to take you to jail. And in the auditing world, that's called taking the ride, or you make the cop do the walk of shame, right? This is pretty common standard verbiage, isn't it? That you're either taking the ride for your rights, or you're going to break and you're going to give him your ID. And in this particular video, Jeff breaks and gives him his ID because he can't go to jail right now. It's a weekend, it's Friday, he's on lunch break, he's got to go back to lunch. So that means if he has to go back to work, there's probably people relying on him for him to come back to work, right? Otherwise, I'm willing to take the ride, but the thing is there's 6 people back at the shop and they need the 7th for this thing to work, what we're doing, for this production to work, or typically for me, right? And so Jeff Gray has to back down. The other day I saw a video on a popular YouTuber's channel. And they went through all the steps of being able to take the ride. Because if you take the ride, and there's the funding behind you to bail you out and to sue the cop for a 1983, if you take the ride, then that's us one step closer to reclaiming our rights, to reclaiming the Bill of Rights. Because with the new camera system, with the new mass communication systems, if you have it on camera that he's clearly violating your rights, that you are not in the wrong, that you do not have to show him your ID, that you are not disturbing the peace, and you are simply filming a cop, then what we do, this new thing, I shouldn't tell you guys, it's incredible. It's incredible. The auditing community will have backing, gigantic backing. And what that means is that you can take the ride. And I want you to take the ride. I'm going to take the ride because I will not tolerate my rights being violated. And if you're going to slap handcuffs on me, there needs to be a system in place to catch me. Because I'm not taking the ride for me. I'm taking the ride for you and for your kids. That's who I'm taking the ride for. That's the reason why I will not give a single solitary inch with my rights. You guys have may see me lambaste that cop, but that's not, I didn't just do it so you guys could see it. I did it because I won't give a single solitary millimeter of my rights any further. Not a single bit. Won't do it. And if you're going to take me to jail and I'm unwilling to bend on you taking my rights, there needed to be, because it's done. It's coming. A system in place for you. For you. Because the only way we actually get our rights back is by we start putting these guys in jail. Because if you listen to that cop interview with Izzo today, he says in there, what a lot of cops don't realize is in 1983 is a 2-year federal prison sentence for a 1983 violation. 2 years in prison. When, yeah, and it's coming. It's coming soon, like really soon, sooner than you could imagine. So I don't want to say anything else because I think maybe I said too much already, but I don't think so, because it really involves everybody. It's about all of us. It's about the whole community of people who are like, you know what? And by the way, when I saw James Freeman get arrested, when I saw you start to get a little bit of emotion in it. You can start to feel it a little bit. I can't remember the other guy's name, but I saw another guy. One day I went on my Instagram and or YouTube right away in the morning. I saw 2 guys get arrested for filming back to back, and I was like there has to be a way that you and I can fix it. Because remember, I've been a watcher. I've been a consumer of product since till June of 2021. And then I started to speak about your constitutional rights. But I've seen so many people's content, so many thousands and thousands and thousands of people's content. And so we have devised a system. We have created a system to absolutely turn and deal with the police state through video, through transparency, through just pure transparency. You can't take on the police state with violence. You can't fight them. You can only take them on with your rights and transparency. That's it. It's the only way we can win. So we have a way to do it now, which is going to be, you guys have no idea. It is going to be so exciting. You have no idea. You guys have no idea. So, yeah, I'm sorry. I just kind of went off on a little tangent here, but it's just like, this has been meaning to come. This has been meaning to come for a very long time. And now we put together something that's just incredible. Matter of fact, I made the phone call today. I talked to another guy today, and he's pretty excited too. And so we're gonna be able to change these things. You guys have no idea. What we're doing right now will change things faster than overturning Terry. Now, Terry would have magical results, magical overnight. But to get to the power level that we have to get to overturn Terry, right? It's gonna take a little bit of time. It's gonna take a couple of years, few years. I mean, I know what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna run for the governor of one of these states, probably California. But that's what I'm gonna do. End of story. Because this has to change. And so if I get executive power, I will absolutely implement a third party over the top of cops. And I will disarm so many cops, it's unbelievable. I will disarm a lot of the police departments. They just don't need to look like Bumblebee Tuna. They just don't. They don't need to look like that. And I would get rid of a lot of those cars, and I would infiltrate the streets with people who are normal human beings that don't have to be called a cop or carry a gun. We could have a whole new system. I went to downtown San Diego, downtown Tucson a month ago, 2 weeks ago, and they have a system down there where there's certain levels of security on each different block. And if they have a problem, they don't call the cops, they call the security. It's like there's so many levels that we can go to here because the cops they own our rights through Terry. They own all of our rights. They own every right we have. So yeah. So yeah, there's some pretty exciting things. This, I don't know. I may run in North Dakota. I don't care. You have to. So remember what I talked about when I talked about the black community is going to have to coalesce somewhat with the conservative community, which is what kind of, it's good that a lot of young black males are being red pilled, because the black community is going to have to coalesce with conservatives. In the history of America, there's only been 5 black executives, 4 governors and 1 President Obama, who I went off on earlier, and I told you what I thought of him. And so that means the executive is the only person who signs law. I mean, you guys already know this. You already know this. The Congress writes the laws, the executive signs the laws, and the Supreme Court decides if it's constitutional. So you have to be an executive of a state to implement a new policing strategy, a new way to police an entire state. You have to be the executive of that state. I don't care which state I'm the executive. Well, I do. I'm not going to live in North Dakota. I love you, North Dakota. I'm not going to live there. I already went up there before. I went up there and wrestled at NDSU for a week to go check it out, see if I liked it. NDSU, the head coach up there was a guy named Bucky Mon. I went up there and I wrestled with that team for a week just to see if I wanted to go to that school. Yeah. Yep. So you guys get ready for that. If you guys know any auditors, you can tell them it's coming. You can tell them it's coming. That there's going to be a way that you can take the ride, and we got your back. That's what's coming. That if you're an auditor and you don't want to back down, and you know that your rights are being violated, and you got it on camera, there's even an app you sign up to. It's awesome, right? So we know when you went in, we can get you out like that. So cool. So cool. I mean, we're notified that you are arrested now. As real time as this, I'm notified that you're arrested. The company's notified that you're arrested, which is just, thanks. I appreciate you coming. So just imagine that if you're an auditor and you're out on the street and you're getting arrested, right? And so when you're getting arrested, just so you know, there's a million things going through your head. Who's going to get you out? You know, the bond, where's the whole thing. If you've been arrested before, you know what I'm talking about. And so now with what we're doing, it's going to make it so that we know you're being arrested when it happens to you, and we know where you're going. It's incredible. It's incredible. It's truly incredible. And I made a video. I put it on TikTok. I didn't put it on Instagram, but I put it on TikTok on Overturn Terry versus Ohio, or one of my accounts. I have like 3 accounts on TikTok. So, oh no, it's free. It's free. But I don't want to get into it because it's pretty dope. Welcome to the truth. Welcome to the light. Good to see you, T. Roy. Good to see you, brother. I'm just now looking at some comments. Oh, disgusting. Central Valley Transparency, Michael Papp, 2 Virginia Cop Watch. What's up, brother? How you doing, man? Tarvin, what's up? Josh C, what's going on? Eric Jones, how you doing, brother? Good to see you guys, man. Good to see you guys. K Bootlicker, ex Bootlicker, good to see you, man. Destin, Coche Valley Transparency, good to see you, man. I'm a huge fan of Joaquin Valley Transparency, huge fan of those guys. David Villa, Joaquin Valley Audits, Nate Skates, Joaquin Valley, what was the other one? I had them all memorized. I can't remember that third one. Junior. Joaquin Valley Junior. What's up, Laz? How you doing, man? What's up? How's everybody doing? Good to see you guys, man. Good to see you guys. It seems like the more I come on and just kind of and just so you guys know, man, if you guys have any questions about the poster, about any cases on there, if you want to know anything on there, who a figurehead is, anything, this poster I know inside and out. So if you want to know anything about it, I can just, if you guys have any questions at all, I don't want to leave you guys out and not let you know. I want to. San Joaquin Valley Transparency. Oh, dude, you guys go by there. Tell David I said hello. David, the San Joaquin Valley Transparency, that guy. He and I are pretty good buddies. He and I are pretty good buddies. You guys go by there and say I said hello. You know. Oh, that's right. That's how T-Roy and I became boys. He was, what's going on, Haley? How you doing? How are you, Haley? I hope you guys are doing okay. Yeah, don't forget to put a thumbs up, guys. I appreciate it. So I guess, we covered a lot of stuff tonight, but I really didn't plan on telling you guys about what we're doing, but I think it's important for people to know, and definitely you guys should tell some auditors that we got it coming out because now, can I ask you guys a real quick poll question? How many people watch auditors and realize that they're just doing it for a show, that they're just trying to create a TV show, and then you watch auditors like, Bassau and James Freeman and Disorderly Product News, and you watch those guys, and you're like, these guys are serious. like these guys are here for your rights. These guys are here for your rights. And then sometimes you watch other auditors, and you're like, okay, they're gonna get views and likes and all that stuff. Can't answer. But I mean, it is what it is. Yeah, there's some people who are truly genuine that they Armagani Press, that's right. Yeah, Armagani Press. Super like Armagani Press, big time. Yeah, I'm a big fan of Armagani Press. I absolutely love that guy. And he brings his son out, and I just love it. I love it. Yeah. Yep. What's going on? What's going on? Who's that? Susan, what's going on, Susan? How you doing? Justice, what's up? Ohio in the house. How you doing, brother? Oblivious drone. Sorry about that. Tropic and Co. What's going on, friend? Fish Sinker, Cooper, Party. What's going on? Polly G, Laz, Steven. What's going on, Steven? Ron, how you doing, man? Ozza, what's going? Hey, Ozza, you get the T-shirt, bro? Did you get the T-shirt? Ozza got the T-shirt. You gotta take a picture, Ozza, and send it to me. I'll put it on the community page. Steven, Dessine, what's going on, Dessine? Mara. Yeah, so I found a new T-shirt place today here in Phoenix. So I'm sorry I was sick for 2 days. I was gonna do it first thing Monday, but I was just, as you guys can see, I don't even have my Terry shirt on. I really haven't even done much the last couple of days, but I did find a new T-shirt place today, so I got those T-shirts printed. But I do have those 2 smalls. I can ship those. I got those 2 smalls I can ship tomorrow, and I think Amara and someone else gets one of those, so I can ship those. I'll ship them tomorrow. I got a great surprise for you guys tomorrow. You'll see it. I'll live stream the whole thing. I'll see what time I'm gonna do it, and I'll let you guys know what time I'm gonna live stream that tomorrow. Yeah, I want to go over to Mesa and do some auditing, but I would like someone with me. For sure. Mesa's but at the same time, I'm a big boy. I'm not that concerned about it. I'm not concerned about facing police, because I'll take the ride. That's what'll happen. You're not going to arrest me for no reason. And if you're going to arrest me for no reason, then we're going to go to 1983. That's what's going to happen, because I've love learning tort law, and I can't wait to sue people, But there's things that are important. Those things that are important. Oh, is Direct D out here in Mesa? Hit him up. Take the ride. Are you willing to take the ride? That's the big question. How many people would take the ride? Seriously, just there's 100 people in here. How many people would take the ride? How many people would take the ride? No, seriously. Cop walks up to you and says, "Let me see some ID." You're not even auditing. Cop walks up to you, "Let me see some ID," and you're like, "No." And he's like, "Let me see some ID. Let me see some ID." Would you tell him no, because you know that you do not have to show him your ID? Who would take the ride? Yes, I would take the ride. No, I would not. Yes, I would. No, I would not. Just say yes, I would, or no, I would not. What's going on, Brian? Good to see you, man. Can't. 3 strikes. See there? Public oversight. Yes, I would. Yes, I would. No ID. No ID. Nope. A couple no's in there. I would take the ride. I've never taken the ride. Wow, my uncle hasn't it. Yes. Be vigilant. Same. Yes, I would. Yes. Dude, I would love to hook up with Direct D while I'm out here, man. Send him a DM. Tell him I'm here. You guys hit up Direct D. Tell them that. Oh, hey, do you guys want to do something? I have a. Yeah, you know what? I don't even want to put it out there. I don't want to put it out there. But there's when we get to a certain point, I'm gonna have people roll over these accounts. I've got a lot of fake accounts, so it doesn't matter. It's horrific. It's horrific. I don't answer cop questions. Yeah. So what this is going to allow people to do who are truly down for liberty and down for freedom, it's going to allow them to take the ride, because I'm not going to back down. This what we have coming out is literally a game changer. I had to drive around all day today, going like, what? Right? Because what have you guys always thought about, right? What have you always thought about? I've always thought about like making like this ultimate auditors app, because remember, I got no knock rated in 2002. So I've been watching auditors since the very first. I mean, I was an auditor. I have tons of old footage, but okay. So here's the point. I've always thought about what's the perfect app, what's the perfect synergy of stuff to help auditors do their job better, right? To truly make it so that it can be a profession and that they can make a living doing it, right? And so you first have to be able to withstand the blows of jail and courts. And that's the hardest thing, because what happened with the George Floyd riots was the George Floyd protest riots. There was both in LA. Trust me, it was horrific. And so the hard part though is people would go to jail, and then you would get this Cash App chain, and they would be like, yo, help, there's so many people in jail, this many people in jail, right? And you're just putting money into a Cash App, and so you're like, what I had to figure out was, it's not my job to create the best app for you to stream and sound and edit. That's not my job. My job is to make sure you get out of jail, and then we take legal action against the cop, because we put enough of them in prison, and pretty soon they'll say those guys are members of TAC, and then that's it. They just can't violate your rights because of the camera, because of the transparency. It's just that simple. It's going to be a total game changer. It'll change the entire playing field. It'll change everything. It'll change everything. So and he's going to arrest you. And I would be recording, and I would ask him. Right, that's right. If he says, so I'm answering your question, Dan Lee. You said, in your example of a cop just walking up to you and recording, and then asking him if he's going to arrest me if I don't show him the ID. Yes, that's all you need for civil rights violation. That's exactly correct. That's exactly correct. So what Dan asked, just for people watching, was, if a cop walks up to you and says, hey, let me see your ID, and you're just filming and you're not doing anything wrong, and you say, I have a right now to ID because I haven't committed any crimes, I'm not being suspected of committing any crimes, this is a First Amendment protected activity, then at that point, if he arrests you because you won't show him ID, that's a civil rights violation. You bet. 100%. Deprivation of rights under the color of law. Yes. And we would take that case, and we would go after him to the very bone and try to put him in prison. Yeah, 100%. That's a civil rights violation. You cannot just arrest people because you want to, dick. It's not how it works. But all too often we're seeing it happening, and then the auditor doesn't have the resources, or gets bogged down with legal fees and legal charges, or missing their work because they're in jail for too long. And that's what has to change, and that's what we've changed. Well, James Madison Audits, you should never talk to police. The reason, and by the way, Mark Wasserman at Pop Brothers Law, he's a good friend of mine. So you guys pop over to Pop Brothers and tell him Shirley said hi. But he saw my video where I tore those cops apart, and he said, I want to use this as an example of what not to do. And I said, go ahead, do that. Go ahead and do that. So let me just say this. It's not my job. My mission on this earth is not to remain silent. My job is to explain to that cop that it is not his right to try to ruin mine. That's my job, to let him know that there are people who know the law better than him, and he doesn't get the right to run roughshod over me just because he's doing a public service. And we don't say, thank you for your service. Thank you for your service means when you pull me over and the road is closed, then you treat me with the modicum of patience and decency and allow me to find my identification. Don't stand there. I need your ID now. Can I please have your ID? Hey, bro, you pulled me over. And if you read some of the comments, once in a while, someone will go like, oh, you instigated that. No, I didn't. I didn't ask to be pulled over for no good reason. I didn't drive recklessly. I went to go turn on the road. It was closed. I saw that. I turned around. I looked. There was nobody around. That dirty clown was hiding somewhere from over there. There was nobody in the intersection. I just didn't want to sit in an intersection like a deer in the headlights. I got out of there. There was nobody around. You see? But it's not my job to say as little as possible to those guys. It's my job to, because remember, I don't drink. I hardly ever smoke weed. I did smoke weed the other day, but I hardly ever do any kind of drug or alcohol. So, it's not like I'm gonna, and I'm not gonna allow them to bully us. I'm gonna change it. I'm gonna change it. It's so funny because just, and I don't want to get into the drama of the bullshit, the Bolshevik Revolution. You might want to research that and how they killed 650,000 Afro-Russians. That's what they're called. It's so funny though when those people tried to call me a racist, right? They tried to call me a great black savior, and I tried to explain to them, I came to your community because this affects you guys the most. I went to TikTok. I didn't come to YouTube first. I didn't go to Instagram first. I went to TikTok first. I went to the black community to explain this law. Terry's the one screwing your people. It's your people. It's literally by numbers. It's you. And we know qualified immunity is based on racism. So it's like, and they said I was a great black savior. Am I a great white savior now? Because I'm telling a different group of people that I'm doing this for you. I am. I'm doing this for America. This is for America. This is for the kids and the great-grandkids and the kids after that who have a right to be free, who have a right not to be grabbed by the police. You have the right to you have the right to have fun. I just read somewhere that they're arresting people and having pop-up block parties in Chicago because there's a great big, mandate going on. You're arresting people for having a pop-up block party? What? The funny part of the report was that because there's so many prostitutes who have been out of work, that there is a cascade of prostitutes trying to get business, and it's not hard, I guess. So that's pretty funny. So the irony of remembering these people said that I wanted to be some great black savior, and I tried to explain to them, I literally came to your community to tell you could roust your leadership. You could roust your leadership to fight for Terry versus Ohio. I came to you here at this place on your platform. And so now when I just caught myself saying that to you guys, that I'm doing this for us, and I am, right? Am I a great white savior now? Is that what it is? Now I want to be a great white savior? Does it apply, or is that racist? It's just preposterous. It's just preposterous. I'll give you guys a clue. My black nephew, who is a part of the operation to create a fund for auditors so they can get out immediately and we can sue the cops, the one who I helped raise when he was 15, came and lived with me, the black nephew, he and I earlier today, when we were talking about what we're doing, we laughed about me being racist. He's black. He's he lives with me. It's a lot of people tell me it's where this is a badge of honor if that specific group has labeled you a racist. So I'm wearing it as a, it's just the irony. But we move on. We move on. I know what, it's just preposterous. It has to do with freedom. It has to do with liberty. But let's be honest. Who does Terry affect the most? Who does marijuana laws affect the most? Who do gun laws affect the most? You know, who do all the laws affect the most truly? Black people. That's just the way it is. You know, the marijuana laws, if you're white versus black, you're 1 in 4 times more likely to be arrested. If you're white, 1 in 4 compared to a black guy gets arrested all 4 times. You know, no, it's not just poor people. It's literally black people. It's literally black people. I mean, you know, I do my freaking studies. It's literally cops targeting black people. It's pathetic. I mean, they do it to us too. They do it to us, light skin, round eye. Oh, racism, light skin, round eye. I better stop being a smart ass. But, you know, they do it to us too. They do it to people who have white skin and pale skin, you know. Not taking anything away. Fish stinker. Okay, anyway. Well, I hope you're taking away Pearson versus Ray, and that where qualified immunity comes from. Bivens versus 6 unknown agents for your rights, how you can get your rights back. You know, so, you know, these are just, I just say things that are really hard for people to accept, that are true. I say things right at you, and I look directly into the camera lens, and I say exactly the truth. Especially if I'm sure of it. Like, you know, the other night I had taken a dab and I couldn't remember William Howard Taft was 1909 to 1913. I think I said 1905 to something else. I watched part of it back and I was like, oh, I was stoned. You know, but at the same time, if you go through my videos, there's tons of mistakes I made. I'm sure 100%. Especially as I continue to learn new data all the time. You know, we could also go over Philip Turner versus Driver, which I read the other day. I reread that again. Thank you. I appreciate it, Paulie. Thank you. I appreciate that. It's a nice thing to say. It's so funny. And so, you know, just so you guys, yeah, let the auditing community know. It's coming. It's pretty crazy. Well, I mean, we're going to let them know in a very big way. I brought in the right partner. So we're going to let them know in a very big way. Everybody will know very quickly. Everybody, yeah, global. I'm coming. I'm finishing this Philip Turner's. Oh yeah, Philip Turner's made it. That's Turner versus Driver. Yeah, global. I'm coming. I'm finishing this fund for auditors, and then I'm gonna come right up there, and we're gonna hang, dude. Can't wait. I just got a couple things I gotta do. Anyway, all right. I probably talked to you guys ear off. We're coming up on 90 minutes. I better get off the flock off this thing. Get the flock off this thing. Take the recently subscribed. Thank you. Appreciate it. You guys, you know, let me just tell you guys something. For you 100 people here, listen, go back and watch my videos that are 2 months old, 3 months old. Those videos are, I mean, I watched a video today that was 20 minutes long. I don't even remember making it, right? I'm always just thinking of ways to reach people to get them to understand that Terry versus Ohio is the linchpin of everything. And so I watched a video today and it was like, wow, this is really good. It was 2 months old. Someone commented on it. But if you go back and watch those older videos, you're going to find, man, there's some doozies. There's some real good information in some of those, you know? And then I think when I was just getting going, I think you know, there's a lot of intense stuff in there. A lot of intense stuff. I'm sure there's a couple times where I'm sure that in some of those long ones I cry when I first talked about my no-knock rate out loud in front of, you know, hundreds of people, because there's 100 people here, 90 people now, but it's like, you know, we had rooms that were thousands of people, you know, and so it's like when you're talking to that many people, it's like when you talk about, you know, your truth. I mean, even with this many people, with 50 people, you talk about your truth, it breaks you down. You start to cry, especially if you haven't talked about it a lot. You know, and then when you admit it in front of all these people that the cops no-knock raided you and you really weren't guilty, and then you're vulnerable because you're saying they no-knock raided my house, but I really wasn't guilty. You know, you're kind of like pleading your innocence because you're revealing your truth in front of everybody because it's my truth. You know what I mean? So it was hard. I'm sure on a couple of those I cried, 100%. I know I did. So yeah, you just gotta push forward though, you know. So yeah, we got some cool things going on. I can't wait to get you guys involved. I cannot wait to activate everybody here. If anybody doesn't have my poster, hit me up, deletelaws@gmail.com. If you want to buy one, deletelaws@gmail.com. It comes in your email. Check your spam folder if you order one. It's a digital poster. If you order the hard copy one, I have all orders in, so they're coming out. I found a new t-shirt place today. I'll mail the 2 smalls for Amara. She told me how to pronounce her name too, but I obviously am going to mess it up. Oh yeah. So there was a guy today that called me from the Midwest, and he had a legal thing going on. And I said, "Hey David, how you doing, buddy? There's a guy from the Midwest, had a legal thing going on." And he was talking about these things, and I sent him a video, and I said, "You start here and you watch the whole series." Deletelaws@gmail, DELETELAWZ, deletelaws@gmail, or go to deletelaws.com and you zoom in. Whoop! There it is. If you guys want to order a poster, you can get order a poster at deletelaws@gmail.com. You guys are my regulars, I'm sure, so you guys know my cup of coffee fund, whatever. It is what it is. We're gonna make it. 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 We're gonna change this show, I guarantee it. All right, guys, I'll get out of here. Thanks for letting me hang with you tonight. I really appreciate it, man. Thanks for letting me talk. You know, I hope you guys learned something. Sorry I went off on Obama like that. I just, you know, murderous people make me go crazy. You know, that's all I'll say about that. Anyway, so yeah, you guys want to hit me up? Anything else? If you guys don't have a poster and you want one, let me know. If you order one, I'm grateful. Just let's keep going though. Let's keep going no matter what. Let's keep going. We don't stop till Terry's overturned. Straight up. Tell your friends. Tell your friends. Go back and watch the older videos. If you don't wait for my next live, there's plenty of old videos. And if you got a free poster, I expect you to come up with the dough to go print it out. I expect it. You know what I mean? I expect it. All right. So thanks, you guys. I really appreciate it. Much love. Much love. Good talk. I was sick in the beginning. We got through it, though. All right. Talk to you soon. Later, guys.